Rep. Byron Donalds tells Maria Bartiromo why the Democrat Party is in disarray. There's a bunch of reasons why they're in disarray. I could just name off a few right off the top of my head. One, uh, there's no clear leader. Two, they verge too far to the left where the average American person disagree with their politics. 80-20 on the 80-20 issues. We talk about this time and time again. 80-20 issues, they're the 20%. When it when it comes to main stuff, common sense things, they're on the wrong side of it. And another reason is they lie too many times to the American people about too many things. American people are fed up from the lies. I could keep going. I can name more and more things, but I'm interested to see Byron Donald's take on this. So we're gonna play a couple of clips. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. Has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account. So follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Gateway Pundit, and they report that Rep. Byron Donalds was on Sunday Morning Futures with host Maria Bartiromo and discussed the chaos of the Democrat Party. So let's just get down to the clip, one of the first clips here. Here we go. Oops, I have no idea why it's not starting from the beginning. That's pretty weird. All right, here we go.
Joining me now with more on the internal turmoil in Florida is Congressman Byron Donalds, who is running to succeed Governor Ron DeSantis in the Sunshine State. Congressman, thanks very much for being here.
Before they get to it, I have to say I'm a huge fan of Byron Donalds. He's very articulate. He's good at breaking information down for people to understand. He's highly intelligent. He knows he's really good at finance. In fact, he was a banker. He's really good at finance.
What's going on to the Democrat Party in Florida?
Well, what's going on is that the Democrats here in Florida have been soundly defeated. And listen, Maria, you got to give credit to where credit is due. Governor DeSantis, his leadership during COVID and really his governorship over the last couple of years, in part with the amount of voters who have chosen Florida. They've become Republicans. The Democrats have no message. They have no leader. They really don't know where to go. And then you have the radical nature in their party, the anti-Semitism, which you've already talked about, the fact that they have judges who are willing to stand up for illegal aliens over the American people. Their party.
That's one of the 80-20 issues right there.
Is a mess. It is massively divided. And so what you're seeing here is Democrats in our state are saying enough is enough. They're either becoming Republicans or they're going independent.
How are you going to ensure that the Republicans hold on to the majority come the midterms? You know, if Hakeem Jeffries becomes the Speaker of the House, everything changes for President Trump.
Facts.
I think it's simple. Number one, we have a job to do in Washington, getting the president's agenda through everything from his tax package through deregulation, energy dominance. That's step one. Step two is reminding voters in our country that the Democrats don't have a plan. They don't even have a leader. What they have is outrage. What they have is anger. I just had a town hall, and they were more concerned about screaming about government efficiency as opposed to having solutions to making sure that we're spending the people's money appropriately. And so as long as we get our job done on Capitol Hill and campaign about the truth, what Republicans are doing versus the fact that Democrats have no plan that will help us in the midterm elections.
Facts. All facts. They have absolutely no plan. Their answer to everything is oppose Trump. That's all they got. Additional footage of Rep. Donalds discussing President Trump's America First agenda. So let's check that clip out here. Here we go.
And Congressman, let us understand the work to be done this week. You and your colleagues are back in Washington tomorrow morning. What's the plan?
Well, Maria, the plan needs to be that the committee chairman, Jason Smith, Ways and Means, Brett Guthrie, Energy and Commerce, and several others begin the work of crafting their language for the reconciliation instructions in budget reconciliation. A big hurdle we have in the House, which we're going to have in Congress, is that we're going to have to find a way to cut about $1.5 trillion in spending. And the reason why is that we have to begin to control federal spending. It can't continue to be out of control like it's been for too long in Washington, D.C. So this
Basically, we've been giving our government a blank check. They just continue to spend us into oblivion. That's why inflation was so bad. We finally got inflation being reeling inflation back in. That's the democratic answer for everything: more money and more taxes, which hurts the people, hurts the economy.
This is a golden opportunity, of course, to extend current tax policy, bring the new measures that the president campaigned about, like no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security, but then also to get the fiscal house of the nation in order. Now's the time to do it. That work begins this week in Washington.
So you will start marking up by committee parts of that reconciliation package. Are you planning on raising taxes on the highest earners to raise revenue?
No, that's not in my plan. And look, there's been whispers of this, but this is not concrete. I don't expect it to be in the package. I'll just be clear, that's not something I'm going to support. And I know there are many Republicans on the Hill who are not going to support that. Frankly, the vast, vast, vast majority of Republicans aren't going to support that. But I think it's important to be clear on this. We have to cut spending. And so for the same Republicans who are opposed.
That is the question. It's not a tax problem. We don't have an issue with the government bringing in money. It's our government is spending out of control. It's a spending problem, not a taxation problem.
Rightfully so, to tax increases. None of us want to do that. We have to be fiscally responsible. So I would say to those same Republicans who would say, oh, we would never raise taxes, that's great. We should not do that. But we have to be serious about spending. We can't allow bloated federal spending to continue just because you're worried about the midterm elections. If we cut spending appropriately, the American people see a more efficient government that still provides services, and we have a better economy overall, the American people will reward us.
Facts. All we have to do is continue to do what we're doing, continue to make these cuts and deregulation. The economy is going to start booming again like it was before the pandemic. The American people will see it, and we will win again in 2026. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.